Committee. All the members are present, and now we're ready for prayer. So let us pray. Our Father, who art the hope of all the earth, remember us in love and guide us by thine wisdom. We ask thee to grant blessings upon thy servants, our community leaders, our county mayor and commissioners, our city mayor and councilman. Bless us with wisdom, goodness, and truth. May law and order, justice and peace prevail. Defend our liberties, preserve our unity, protect our county, to the honor of thy holy name. Amen.
Amen.
First is approval agenda, and I think Commissioner Vick.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, without objection, I'd like to add under our reports or other reports to add that the report from the Planning Commission from Director White on our progress for the wastewater be added to the agenda for tonight.
Okay. You have a second
Well,
approval?
without objection.
Okay, no, that'd be good. It'd be fair. Make note of it if I happen to get by the end of it, you remind me.
Yeah.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the May 20th, 2025 Roads and Legislative Committee meeting minutes. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Public comment period, and we do have several people here, and we'll go on and address that now since that's where it is on the agenda. We've had a request from several people here that wants to speak, and I guess we'll start with Jeremy Henderson. And yes, sir, you just come up to the microphone so it's recorded, and try, since so many's on here, we'll try to keep 2 or 3 minutes if you don't mind.
All right, that's fine.
Thank
My
you.
name's Jeremy Henderson. I'm Troy Thompson's zone out in Unionville, just before all 41A. I'm not really sure if this is the venue to be bringing this up, but I want to air it out and try to get something on it rolling. I'm sure y'all know, I'm sure y'all have caught wind of this slaughterhouse that's going on in 41A. Not really sure it's too legal. A lot of slaughtering going on overnight. It's barely 3 acres. They're doing a lot of burying the carcasses right in front of, maybe 10 feet in front of What's the name of that creek? North Fork Creek, which goes into our waterway, Duck River. They have been caught, and there's pictures floating around of bellies. They were dumping remains into the creek. Now the pictures you could see, it'd be different if it was one, but there was probably 10, maybe 12 stomachs just sitting right there that were caught on a limb. So I can understand him getting a fine for just one dumping, but it was who knows how many, because we got a good rain. Who knows how many actually float their way on down and weren't seen in the pictures. The guy, Mike Whaley, has been on this. He closed the case out. He said that no dead animals were found. 2 days prior to him,
Who's Mike Whaley?
He's a livestock agent for our area. Crime unit, yeah, livestock crime unit. Sorry. Anyways, he closed the case out. I seen on the government website 2 days prior to him closing his case out, saying there was no dead animals found. There was a malnutrition cow I sent him a picture of that was in the front yard that was dead. They drug it to the back. They buried it. They're not burying these carcasses very deep. You can see heads, you can see hides sticking out of the ground. They're barely putting 6 inches of dirt on it. There's a lot of people in here, I'm sure they want to speak to, that are all around this. The flies, the stench from the heat cooking, the sun cooking these carcasses. And we have, $700,000 homes. My neighbor who just bought a house that's brand new right on top of this, that they cut the land off of what was this horse barn makeshift slaughterhouse. The poor guy's, paid $700,000 for a house, and he's dealing with the stench and flies of this place and the gunshots that come with it from them putting these animals down. Now, mind you, this is a horse barn. Paint a picture. It's a horse barn by all means. They are butchering and killing these animals where the old horse wash station was, a little slab of concrete. The whole horse barn is dirt. So I don't know what kind of disease and stuff like that comes with a bad processing deal, but the guy owns several stores. We all know that it's not personal consumption. And the amount that's going in and not coming out of there, one man couldn't fit in his whole house if it was a freezer. That's not. I'll let that ride with that. I'll let y'all's kind of imagination go because you're getting little details, tidbits. But I don't want to hold y'all up. You got plenty of other people that want to talk. But I just want to get something rolling because I don't think it's fair. Whether it's some kind of regulation or rules, policy, where you have to have so many acres, you have to be so far. Which I think there are laws on that. We have to be so far from a waterway, especially one that goes in our water source, and then so far from houses. I'm all about a man being allowed to do whatever he wants on his land. But when it's in this kind of scenario, when you're creating issues for neighbors right on top of you in a place that wasn't meant for that, like I'm pretty sure that he's not following the rules that should be in place for a sanitary butchering operation. I think that's when we got to draw the line. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Henderson. Next on the list is Jesse Warwick. Jesse, do you want to speak? Okay.
Directly behind the facility, the illegal slaughterhouse is what it is. The creek divide us. They throw the guts and the remains in the creek. Had EPA come out. They said they found them, but I never got any paper. And they're burying it. So they started burying it. And it's illegal to bury the remains of a carcass farm animal within 100 foot of a creek, a state water right. It's illegal to bury it. You got to be 165 feet from the property line. They encroach his own too. Ain't nothing been done about it.
What's the address of this property?
Uh,
Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think they have a.
Well, what road is it?
Is it right
It's on
across the old Big
41A?
Thompson horse barn?
Yes, it is.
Beside Vic Thompson?
There's two
On the
horse.
other side of the
There
road.
used to be two horse barns there. A lady owns the first one, going north. The slaughterhouse is the next horse barn right beside her. Then the poor fella that bought that house is right beside it, and the guts are running down the creek on everybody's property.
Yeah.
2990.
Hmm.
I wouldn't do it personally. I'd let somebody, I hate to put it on law enforcement, but it sounds like something law enforcement should do, but I don't know.
Commissioner Fair, could we hear
Josie,
from Josie
maybe.
just for just a second?
Yes.
Do you mind? Josie?
Address that's on record is 2985 Highway 41A North. They did not get a 911 address, so it's under mine still.
2985 Highway 41 North.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been getting kind of rumors. Nobody's called into like my facility. However, they were writing stating that Mike Whaley is with the Department of Ag Crime Unit. When they start doing stuff like this is who we call. Normally, if something like that's going on, we would go out with the state vet, Dr. Jill Johnson. And then at that point, if there is more crime going on with large numbers, that's when Mike Whaley would come in. I've actually been waiting for a couple weeks to hear about this. It just hasn't hit my office. However, Commissioner Vick, if you'll send me that address, I will go out with the state vet. We'll check this out, and then I will contact Mike Whaley.
Good.
Because there are certain criteria for having slaughterhouses. And if you're selling the meat, I know it has to be USDA, but also there are certain criteria for disposing of that body as well.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
Director White, do we have any rules? Do we have any rules or processes in our zoning plan for slaughterhouses or anything like that?
We do. I mean, for it to be a recognized legal slaughterhouse, it has to be zoned industrial.
Is that property out there zoned industrial?
No,
Do you
it's
know?
zoned agriculture.
Okay.
So we Janice, Commissioner Brothers, made us aware of this about 2 weeks ago, and Blake's been working on it, and he's been talking with the Department of Agriculture. We're trying to get them out there, and just like one of the other gentlemen said a minute ago, they said there was EPA. I don't think EPA fined them, but in Blake's attempt to start wrapping his mind around this and work this as an investigation, he did talk to the EPA. And the sad thing is they assigned us an investigator from the Department of Ag, and that investigator now left into new employment. And so right in midstream. And then, I don't know, Friday maybe, he was on the phone with him again, and the actual supervisor of the whole division found another job. And so they know they have a new supervisor. They assigned us a new investigator today. So the good thing is, I mean, there's, we're aware of it, and we're working it. Blake went out there last week and took some photographs of the creek. Couldn't find any carcasses or evidence, but of course we've had a lot of rain lately. He did find something. He wasn't sure what it was, but I saw the photographs myself, and it was definitely a pooling of liquid. It was like dark brown. It didn't look like blood, but it didn't look like something that belonged either. I'm sure by now that's washed away as well. But what I would like to say is that anybody that knows anybody that has photographs or video from their cell phones, I've heard there's some of that stuff going around. We would like to have copies of that, because the more evidence we have, then the better case, of course, we have against them. And Blake has talked to them, and of course they denied doing anything. And then of course we know what we're being reported is that they do it late at night, of course, when we're not working. So, but anyway, so we're on it. Department of Ag is on it. We just had a problem with their staffing situation, but
Thank
I do have, sir. I don't know who he was talking to, honestly. Blake's been working it, and of course I've been doing my own thing, but he did write a little report. But I was looking at it. I was going to give you guys a copy just today. I said, because he was going to come here and make this report himself, and he got sick today. But anyway, I had him draft something up, but he didn't put any names in his report. So doesn't have your name in it. All right, was it an email or something that he sent you?
It showed up on the internet.
Was it from Mike Whaley?
It is from the Tennessee Department of Ag Crime. Yeah, Mike Whaley.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's who he was working with. So maybe that's the investigator that's left. Okay. Well, we talked to the new supervisor of the Department of Ag Crime Unit today, and they are assigning us a new investigator. So that's what we were told today. So. Okay. Is it? I know you probably work during the day like most people do, but I would like that. I could give you. We go outside or whatever you want to. I could give you my cell phone information, and you could send me that information, and then I can. But yeah, I appreciate that. Anybody else have any photos or?
So anybody that's got photos or information, maybe meet outside with Chris.
I'm not sure why we're saying that the photos that I've seen are attached on that website, whatever that State Department that Mike Whaley put that report on. It has a breakdown of dates, what he did, what the outcome was, blah, blah, blah. And there is a clear picture, and it is stomachs, and it is a handful. Anybody that knows anybody, well, we all pretty sure know what a stomach would look like. You tell it to,
Well,
it's a stomach.
I don't know this for a fact, but given the fact that he's left in employment, gone someplace else, that might have something to do with the report. I don't know. But anyway, according to the new supervisor, we've been assigned a new investigator as of today. So despite all of that, of course, we're hoping to get the Department of Ag in there to work it as a criminal investigation. And it's not just a zoning investigation, because what we can do and what they can do are two totally different things.
But we're clear that property is zoned agriculture
Oh,
and
yeah.
not industrial. And we're clear that you have to have a permit from health department or somebody ag
Yes.
to slaughter animals. And we understand now through pictures and testimony from people that their animals have been slaughtered out there and that they're being put into the creek illegally and contaminating the creek. We know that much.
Yes.
But as far as planning department, that's about as far as you can go with it, other than
Well, we
request
can
it.
work it as a zoning violation, but
Okay.
that's really minimal in
Yeah.
the scheme of things. What
Yeah.
we would like to do is work it as a state criminal investigation.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, even if it were zoned appropriately, there's still a lot of permits that they have to get
They
from
have
the
to go,
state
yeah.
to be able to run an organization like that. So they would, that's not possible because that area would not be
Suitable for
allowed to
anything.
be rezoned industrial. So,
It's not even, no inspection.
right.
no anything.
I mean, like I said, we're on it. We're trying
Right.
to do something about it. To need some help from the state. You know, like I said, we can work it as a zoning violation, but they're going to continue to do it at nighttime when we're not trying to see it. And that's the problem with it, working it from just a county perspective. That's why we're trying to
The
bring
fact
state
that they're
in.
doing it at night tells you something.
Yeah.
Who is it?
The guy said personal consumption. 100 head go in, 100 head don't come back out. They disappear. Now,
I don't want to buy any from the store.
Yeah.
Okay, let me have order. But we can't hear the gentleman, please. And Director Wright, if you might throw, I got 6 more to
Yes,
speak.
I'm done.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. But we got 6 more that would like to speak. The next one's Jerry Henderson. Jerry, okay. He's down here twice. Jeremy here, okay. Jackie Harris. You got another one? Okay. Okay, the one's Jeremy. Okay, go ahead. That's okay.
I counted in the pictures that I took 151 goats and sheep on that property and 15 cows. And I'm looking to take another picture to see how many
Live?
live.
Okay.
Now you can't tell me that that's personal consumption. And you don't buy a $340,000 barn to do personal consumption of slaughtering for yourself. You wouldn't need it. And the fence on that property that adjoins the neighboring house that Donnie lives in, they put they're starving and they're pushing on the fence. There's no staples on some posts, and some posts only have one staple left. It's just a matter of time till you got 150 goats running down the road, or sheep. Most of them are sheep. Oh yeah. One day I went over there on May the 14th because I seen somebody. And I drove up and I asked him, "Can I buy some meat?" He said, "Yeah." The Mexican. I said, "Can I look?" And he said, "Let me talk to the boss." And he took me in there and they showed me a bunch of sheep in one of the stables. And I told them I wasn't interested in sheep. And then they took me to the cows and they showed me yearlings. And they said they got the guy on the phone, his boss, the guy that drives the black truck that supposedly owns the place. And he's on FaceTime looking at the cows that I'm looking at and telling me a price. And he said, those yearlings, they're $3.50 a pound live weight, and we'll butcher it and cut and wrap it for you. And then he showed me 2 old black cows. They were $3 a pound. Well, none of them are there now. They've already slaughtered all those. There was probably, that day I was there on May the 14th, there would have been at least a dozen there, and there's only one black cow left out of that group. And they were dragging a couple goats in there today, chasing a black one all over the place, and I'm sure they slaughtered it. And the other one, they grabbed it by the horns and just drug it in there. And Judy White said that not only that dead cow laid out front, she said she had a goat dead Sunday, and they left it lay there most of the day, all day.
Your goat?
If we don't nip this in the bud, if we don't figure out a way to stop this, these kind of people, they go to meetings and churches and stuff, and I'm not against their religion or nothing. I'm not trying to jab slap them, but they congregate together, and once that's out, how many horse barns we got in this county? And if they can get away with that, you'll have a half a dozen of them going, buying them old horse barns and be.
Do y'all have any idea who's buying from them?
Oh, I'm sure they're well, they came in a car and they were all dressed in white, and they went inside, and I'm sure they did a ritual.
There were
Yeah.
7 cars, and they were Indian descent, dressed in what looked like white robe, and they came out not only carrying garbage bags full of meat, but some of them came out with blood on the road. So they're doing some kind of blessing in there, and they're allowed to walk out whatever they bought and bless.
There's no cooler on this property. The only thing there is a slab of concrete and water. And she used to own the barn, and she said that there's a pipe that runs out there that drains the washout. And said once in a while it would stop up from washing a couple horses. They'd go out and dig it out and let it run. And they came in there with a backhoe and dug a great big hole so it all can run in there in this hole, and they put some wood over it so the livestock wouldn't fall in it. And I've got pictures on my phone that you can see the hide and the bones. They didn't even cover it up. They didn't want the buzzards to come in there, so they put a scarecrow.
So
Thank you,
animal
sir.
control would be also, Josie could also, in conjunction with zoning, be able to help with the state. So, yeah, animal control would have jurisdiction over
Okay,
being
Jackie
able.
Harris is next. Jackie, okay, thank you, ma'am. Next is John Legate. You're good? Okay, I want to give you an opportunity to speak if you'd like. Ron Adcock?
I'm Ron Adcock, and I live about a half a mile from there, but I own property that's, 300 or 400 feet from this property. The hay field right next to the new house there. And we tried to get something done through the state. And I called Mike Whaley 2 or 3 times, and I don't do Facebook or anything, but so I hadn't followed what's on Facebook, but one of the other people here found this on the internet where he had made a report, but he never bothered to call me. So I'd like to just read it. On May the 29th of 2025, I was contacted by phone by Ronald Adcock of Bedford County. Mr. Adcock advised that him and some other neighbors were getting ready to contact the news media, which we had discussed. Nothing has been done about the illegal slaughter at 2985 North Highway 41A. Mr. Adcock said that yesterday several head of sheep were brought into this facility and nothing was being done. He also said that there were 2 dead hogs in the creek beside the bridge located on Zines Hill Road, which is flow down probably by the way the creek flows, probably a mile. Mr. Adcock said he wanted someone arrested for this, which I did, and it was uncalled for. I was told from, I can't hardly read this, but I was told from the DOA Food and Dairy that USDA was looking into the issue, and the Department of Environmental and Conservation had issued a notice of violation on May the 2nd. So that's how long it's been going on, to the owners of the livestock. And their name is Mr. Hassan, Hasson, out of Nashville, Tennessee. On 5/29, I traveled to Zines Hill Road by the bridge where we told him these hogs had been thrown out, which we got pictures of. The location that Mr. Adcock advised to look for the dead hogs, and none were located, probably because of the local rains and the creek was full. I then went to the facility off of Highway 41A, and did notice several sheep on location. The last time I was at this facility, there was no livestock there. I did not go into the property because of a chained gate at this time, and it is not against the law to own sheep. I'm not aware of what USDA is doing. I went to the location for look for dead animals. Case closed. This is from Mike Whaley with crime unit of the state of Tennessee. And he goes on to say, this is my third visit and no violations of the dead animal, of seeing a dead animal. Now, what would you think an investigator might do? I called and told him and said, these hogs are located down here not too far from the bridge on Zions Hill Road. He had my phone number. He goes and looks without me knowing, that, which is fine, but he couldn't find the hogs. What would you do? I turn around and call and say, hey, could you come down here and show me where these hogs are? I never got a call. Neither did I even know this report had been filed until it accidentally got found on the internet. He threw me under the bus. That's what I call it. And then he said he drove by and the gate was closed. Well, he had been at the facility one time. He told me on the phone, he said, I walked in there, but never went past the front door. And I don't know the legality of going in and without a search warrant or whatever. I don't know. But he said they were sharpening their knives. Well, also, if I was an investigator and I was getting a complaint on this piece of property, wouldn't you stop and talk to the neighbors and say, hey, I've heard some rumors about what might be going on over here. What could you tell me? To my knowledge, is any neighbors been contacted by Mike Whaley, who is the crime investigator for the Department of Agriculture? Anybody been contacted? What kind of investigation you call that? You drive by the highway and see the gates closed and you don't see any dead animals and you close the case. We have tried to get it done in the right way, and nobody at this point will go in or has the authority or whatever to go in and really investigate what they're doing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Adcock. I'm sure when this sits around the set news, there's going to be further investigation. Okay, the next one after Mr. Adcock is Don Lynch. Would you like to speak? Okay.
I'm Don Lynch. I live next door to the slaughterhouse. Most everything's already been said, but only thing I can add is I have watched them bring like wheelbarrows out and dump it in the creek. They bring it out in trash bags and dump it in the creek. And they fill their front end loader on their tractor. They'll dig maybe 10 inches, dump everything down in there and then cover it back up. And then it gets to stinking so bad out there that I've seen 30, 40 buzzards flying around in that field and hanging out. And a couple weeks ago, there was a dead lamb or dead goat in the back corner. So I told them when they come out, I said, you got a dead one back there. Can you? He says, okay. So two of them walked back there and they both grab a leg and they walk about 10 feet and throw it against the fence, and it laid there for a week. Mike Whaley, me and him have talked. He was out there on my land taking some pictures of the dead animal that I reported. Never heard nothing back from him, so I don't know what that situation is. But I'm probably within 50 feet of their land, so. And when it gets hot, it gets really hot, or it rains a lot and the humidity, it gets, it gets to stinking pretty good, and the flies are ridiculous. That's really all I can add to what everything. I mean,
Thank you, sir.
hey, I did, there was 2 weeks ago too, there was, I think this was brought up a little bit, but there was about 20, 25 cars pulled up out there, all dressed as they was saying. And I sat in my driveway watching, because my shop was right there next to theirs. I sat in my driveway watching, and you could hear them in there killing. And they started bringing them out in black trash bags. And you could tell it was an animal in it. And they was dumping them in their back seats, in the trunk, and then taking off with it.
So you mean you heard gunshots?
Yeah.
Okay, that's more
I hear
specific.
the
What-
gunshots, and I can also hear the animal hollering
Wailing,
out.
yeah.
You actually heard gunshots in that building as they slaughtered animals.
Yeah.
And you're sure?
I've heard gunshots. Okay. And I've heard them do it, and you can tell sometimes they're doing it with knives.
Yeah, it's mostly knives is what
Yeah.
they would do. Is it morning or night when you hear the before the sun goes down?
Yeah, it's usually mornings, mornings to mid-afternoon. And then if you come out there between 2 and 4, that's when they're burying everything. So, all right,
Okay.
that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lynch. We got one more, Kobe Crowell.
Hey everyone, I'm Kobe Crowell. If you don't know me, sorry. I was going to just be short and sweet. Sounds like everybody in front of me had made everything, hit all the points and everything. I'm just basically coming as a concerned agricultural farmer involved in the area. I'm by creek wise, I'm a quarter of a mile to half a mile downstream. Got cattle operation. They concerned with the hogs that Mr. Adcock had mentioned. Zion Hill Road, my farm starts right there. I saw the hogs. They were laying there, witnessed that. Don't know whether that's from that operation or not, but anyway, they people throw out stuff there quite a bit down through there, have to deal with that kind of stuff all the time, which I never have understood why people do that in a creek, which where we get our drinking water from, which feeds into the river and vice versa. It just seems like you can't fix stupid. But anyway, so that's what we deal with. But as far as representing cattle farmers, whatever in the area downstream of that, that's affecting my cattle are drinking from that creek daily, and that's just a concern. If T-deck, it should be a T-deck. I know with the zoning department, y'all can only do so much within y'all's conforms of your jurisdictions or how you operate. But as far as like T-deck, USDA, I know we're kind of throwing all this out and y'all don't have anything to do with that, but there's just concerns that should be made. I just wanted to make my point stated. And also another point that this last gentleman hit on, which has been a big concern, and a lot of the cattle farmers have in the area with these power lines running through there. These if people are constantly throwing out this stuff, the buzzards are increasing to a unheard of amount, and like as a cow calf operator, they will kill calves when they're newborn, and that's just increasing the workload on me and the possible loss, of my back pocket for, calf loss, just because of this other stuff. If there's not dead animals laying around, the buzzards may move on to somewhere where they're, getting fed elsewhere. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Is that date, April 24th, or is that? Next day, April 23rd.
Commissioner Bear, can we ask the sheriff if he's got something he'd like to say on this?
If he wants to, it may be a no comment, but
No.
okay. Well, you're free to speak as long as you'd like. That's okay. You've got the podium.
Oh, the first I was aware of this was, I think, week before last. And I'll let the chief correct me if I say something wrong, but I'm thinking that he sent a couple of officers out there. And he also, I'm pretty sure it was him that notified Mike Whaley with the state agriculture. I thought they took it pretty much from there, and I think they have. Last week, Chief was actually on vacation, and somebody, I can't remember if they came by there or called me about it. So I had Lieutenant Toller give Mike Whaley a call, and he said it's an ongoing investigation, and the USDA is involved in it, and pretty much that's the way it is. So that's kind of the last I've heard about it. I have not seen any pictures. I'm not saying they're not out there. I know if these people say they are, they are. I'm just saying I haven't seen any pictures. I'm thinking Mr. Whaley told Lieutenant Toller last week that I thought he said he didn't find any, but I mean, I can't, I won't sit here and testify to what Mr. Whaley said. I'm just thinking that's what he said.
Yeah. He said he didn't find any, but that's on Highway 41A driving down the road.
Yeah.
I think he'll jump on it now.
Yeah.
Or somebody will.
Somebody needs to.
And that's kind of about my knowledge of it. Chief, do you want
Well, Josie can go out there and do.
Yeah, so I actually called
Thanks, Sheriff.
Mike Whaley when I found out about this, and kind of let him know what we were dealing with. It's kind of like Josie said. Whenever we're dealing with livestock issues, I mean that's exactly what they do. So their knowledge in that area of criminal law is a little better than ours, and their resources are better than ours. So we kind of lean on them for that. Whenever I talked to him, when he called me back, he had responded out to the facility, talked to him again. He told me that he didn't see any carcasses along the creek, but he told me then, he said the water was kind of high. He said it's very likely that it could have washed. But I think his biggest issue was, I don't doubt what everybody's telling me, but I got to see it myself. I'm the one that has to find it. So, I know he's been out there a couple of other times. I did not get to talk to him last week at all. Like Sheriff said, I was on vacation. I think one of the issues, and I really don't want to speak for him because I know I don't have all the information on this. It's their case. But it's not illegal to slaughter an animal. It's when it gets into commercial, that's when it becomes an issue. And I think that's maybe where they're still sorting things out. I mean, I agree with everybody here. You're not slaughtering that much for personal use. I think at one time he even made the statement to Mike that if somebody was to come and pick out an animal for slaughter, that he had it slaughtered somewhere else and he'd get them. So I don't know all the details of it. I do know that the case is still active, though. The case is not closed. I know that. I think maybe that incident is what he meant by that, just that particular incident. But the case is open. I know he told me he's got 5 that are still open, 5 complaints that are still open. The USDA is involved in it, and of course the state works with the USDA, but on their side of the investigation, there's things that Mike don't know about what the USDA is doing either. Of course, a lot of theirs is regulatory. We're not talking about necessarily people going to jail. It's regulations with food and things like that. So I will check with him again tomorrow and say, look, hey, you definitely need to fill us in on what's going on here. It depends. I mean, everybody has their private property rights. You were talking about the gate. I mean, we can't cross a locked gate to go in. Without a warrant, he's not just going to be able to walk in and say, "Hey, the place is mine and I'm going where I want to go." He would have to get permission to do that. But the only other times that we're allowed to go to do things like that without a warrant is if there is some type of emergency that we can articulate that we couldn't wait on a warrant. Well, I don't know because I don't know exactly what evidence he has. I don't want to speak for him on that. So I hate to say that it is or it's not, because I know there's a lot of this case that I don't know, the sheriff doesn't know, because we're not really working it. The state's working it. So I don't know what they have.
Okay.
Well, and I will say this, because did I talk to you last week on the phone, or the week before last, I guess? I talked to somebody I know that called. I was thinking it might have been you. I've talked to Mike, and I said, look, if y'all see something, call us immediately. Because, I mean, the state, it might be 4 hours before they can get to you, or the next day, but we can get there now. And I told him, if you call us and we go out there and we see these carcasses laying around, we're not leaving until the state gets there. I mean, we can at least hold it at that point. So, and I told Mike that, and he said, absolutely. He said, I might be 4 hours from you, but if you get there and you've got something and you see it, let me know. I'll be en route. And so I don't want you to not call us if you see something, because a lot of times, like the high water, if you call and say, hey, I saw this yesterday or the day before, again, I don't want to get out there and it not be there, because I know you're not lying, but if it's gone when I get there, that's, a little bit different. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can call us if you see stuff like that, and that way we can at least get an officer out there, and we can take our own pictures, and we can at least testify that we saw it. It's not a picture just off the internet. Okay. For what? Oh. Okay.
Real quick, and then y'all can wrap this up however y'all want. Aside from the state side of this, right, criminality, all that, can we get some kind of something put in place? Maybe y'all can have discussions, maybe going for for the future, where there's regulations in place where, like I said, you got to be you have so many acres from a house, or so many feet from a house, so many feet from a waterway, which Jesse, I think, said is the law. But some kind of regulations in place where these type of deals are not right on top of people that pay good money for their house, and they can't enjoy their outside their house.
I think Director White said there was some in place, but
I just want to make sure maybe it's something.
again, I think that we've just become aware of it. I don't think anybody on this committee knew anything about it.
No, that's the first I've heard.
But it's known now, and I'd say something be done. Most of the dates I've seen have been like in May. Has anybody got any in June? I mean, stuff from this month.
It's still going.
Oh, I know it has. What's the last picture we got in June of? I know I'm talking about this month. Is it curtailed since it's sort of gotten? Are they still going? Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was just wondering if they scaled back any recently.
It's been about 100, 120 head in there, and I can guarantee if you go count them right now, there ain't no.
Yeah. Well, I've seen that farm. I go to Frank to see grandchildren. And I said, they got them young. I said, who? They ain't no sun. They're out in the sun too. There's no shade there. I've seen 5 or 6 young animals and goats and sheep around, and then they're not. No, I see them out there just grazing nothing. And I was wondering what was going on there, but I do know now.
Hey, Deputy.
Well, that's where animal control can get in on it.
Deputy,
because of that.
Deputy. Can I ask one more? May I ask Deputy
Okay,
one more
thank
question?
you. We'll come back to order here, and we'll let Commissioner Vick. We're still in order.
Jurisdictional protocol on this. If Department of Ag comes in, if USDA comes in, where does that place the sheriff's department? Do they have to follow the protocol and with them? Or?
Well, I mean, obviously, the sheriff's office, we have jurisdiction just in these types of cases wherever we feel like the best resources lie to deal with something like that. That's where we go to. And of course, the Department of Agriculture Crime Unit was created for this specific reason. So, Mike is somebody that we've turned to several times in the past especially when we have something on a large scale. It's a little bit different if you've got a horse that is not being taken care of. Exactly what Josie said. We've called the state vet department. Hey, let's go out there.
Right.
We're not vets, so the vet has to determine whether or not that animal's being abused or whatever. But when it gets to something where it's on a larger scale like that, then we definitely like to turn to the state because that's what they're there for. So.
Okay, so that is current. Yeah, there they're going in and out. So they're still working. Okay. Okay. Is there any other questions of the committee? Okay, I don't know if we need to take any action, though. It's public, and there's nothing I don't think we can do.
I think the
If they
action's
wanna
been
bring
taken
something-
tonight. I think
Well,
it's been
I think it
taken
has
tonight
to.
by
I mean,
getting it out here.
Law enforcement, if they want to bring it back up, they can. I don't know if there's any need to or not, but I think the sheriff's department's aware of it, and hopefully it'll be taken care of. It certainly needs to be looked into and remedied as quickly as we can. Is that anybody else? Has everyone spoken? Okay, then that's we'll close the public comment period then. I guess we're ready to go on to item 2 is consideration of placing the June 10th commission minutes on the July 8th, 2025 county commission agenda.
Now I make a motion, we place those on the agenda without a recommendation.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The third item is consideration of placing the notary applicants on the July 8th, 2025 county commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We'll wait just a minute, let them exit. Yeah, we can't go on. We'll let them get out. Okay. Anybody like they're gonna leave, we should have had an opportunity before we went to business. I hate to. We can wait a minute. I should have said something, they won't be dismissed, but I didn't know if they want to say law.
That's what I thought.
I thought they might, but that's okay. It's public.
Wait a minute. Get back to my note here. Don't you think that might take care of it?
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's a good idea right there.
Okay, we're still on item 3. I stopped. We
had a motion.
approved it.
And a second.
Okay, ready. So we did approve it.
We did
Yes.
approve.
Okay, we're ready to, the veterans report was in our packet. There were 65 veterans transported in May to the VA hospitals. I know there's 65 came by the office, I'm sorry. And there were 47 that were transported to the VA hospitals. I noticed Mr. Ely, would you like to bring us up?
Yes, sir. So the forms filed to the VA, that number is going to change because Tennessee Department of Veteran Services has incorporated a new database that we use, and it no longer captures each individual form for Bedford County. It does it for the entire state, but claims filed to the VA is what it's capturing. So one claim may be 2 forms, or it may be 10 forms. So that's where we're going to have a little bit of a lag. Numbers going to look like they're down, but it's really claims filed to the VA is really what the numbers that this database is capturing.
So our numbers you're going to show to us are going to be down. So when Commissioner Fair reads this, it may show 20, but there could be 60 or 100 actual forms filed, our claims
Correct.
filed in there. Okay.
And any one given claim is going to be 2 forms at a minimum. It just depends on the complexity of the claim. If they're filing for compensation or pension, then you're talking 10,
Overtime.
at least 8 to 10 forms. One good thing about the database, though, Tennessee Department of Veteran Services covered the bill for last year and this year, so we don't have to worry about the bill.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Ely? Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking care of our veterans. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the clinic report, the medical, I think they saw 90. They were pretty busy in May. And the dental side saw 78 in May. So as we said, they had a big get-together a while back and were recognizing and needed to be. They do a great service for our community. Ag, Commissioner Anderson, you bring us up to speed on that?
No, nothing really new. We're still figuring out what we're gonna do with the gazebo out there, but the big thing is the fair is next month, getting everything cleaned up, ready for the fair. It's a month away, it's Bedford County Fair.
Yeah, was that moved up some, or was
It
it?
seems like it's a week or so earlier
It
to
seems
me.
like it's been that way 2 years.
It seems, I agree with you. It seems like it was always the end of the month, and now it's the middle of the month. So it seems like
Yes. Falls, okay.
it just seems earlier.
Yeah,
Last
it
2
did.
years, it seemed earlier.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know, but that's why I asked. I thought it was a little later, but that's fine. We've got one of the better fairs to the smaller counties around. Of course, I think Wilson County's got the best one in the state. They say they do. Okay,
Planning Commission report.
yes, Planning Commission, Commissioner Vick. Recognize Director White?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just to catch you guys up on the wastewater issue. Most of you know we've been knee deep in this comprehensive plan, so we've been trying to get that finalized, and we're trying to get that to the Planning Commission by July. We have been working on the wastewater issue as far as just developing ideas, and we've been in the meetings and whatnot, just with different types of people explaining and going over different types of systems and technologies that are out there. I've got another meeting that I plan to attend the last week of July, where another presentation is going to take place. And so essentially right now we're just coalescing information to try to be able to have something to the Planning Commission by August on the wastewater issue. And so I think I talked to Anita about that last week, but that's my goal, is try to have something to the Planning Commission by August.
Thanks, sir. Any questions for Director White? It's faster than we thought originally, so y'all spent a lot of time on it, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's on the front burner.
All right.
Okay, been no questions? I got a few announcements. Of course, June 10th starts this week. I think it's 19th, 20th, 21st. They got activities here in some other places. I'm sure if you got any questions, County Mayor know exactly what's going on. And then, of course, we got on 26th, we got our budget meeting. I think 6:30. Finance usually meets and goes over last minute things. And then our year-end budget then is approved at the special meeting at 7. Don't forget that. That's Thursday, June the 26th. Okay, County Mayor. Okay. Yeah, you made that announcement at the last week. Yes, sir. If anybody's got any questions after this meeting and law enforcement or courthouse and property, we can sit around and discuss it. Right. Okay, any other announcements? Any other questions? Motion to